Welcome to the second chapter of the evolution of subscription business model. Today, let's finally find out the answers to the question I raised at the very first of last video. Why subscription model is dying and usage-based pricing is the next wave. In the last video, we have talked about the subscription business model itself. Without any doubt, the subscription-based business model provides a unique set of advantages both from the customer perspective as well as business and its stakeholders. The nature of the subscription business model, which focuses on the flexibility and experience, caters perfectly to the shift in the customer behavior that favors a SaaS over ownership. But the customer started to feel the subscription fatigue and realized that the fixed subscription pricing is unfair. Think about Netflix. The price is fixed no matter how many movies you watch this month. One movie, set price. Dozens of movies, same price. Perhaps the biggest is that the customer often purchases a license that they never use, so the customer started to find a better solution than the fixed price subscription service. Now the era of usage or consumption-based business model is started. The shift away from buying boxed software towards subscription was one of the biggest innovations of the cloud era to date. That was truly the giant shift. But there is a new model that is winning converts and distribution of the status quo. Now it's time again for making a huge innovation. Here is the simplest explanation on the difference between old subscription model and the usage-based new model. Let's borrow the phrase we used at the first video. The subscription model offers a fixed pricing. No matter how many movies or TV series you watch on the Netflix, it never affects on the monthly payment, while the usage-based pricing is like a utility bill such as electricity, water, natural gas, and all the others. The exact same amount you use a month will be issued as a bill. So let's go back to the point. Now, the usage-based pricing has been gaining steam. In the structure, companies charge customers based on their precise usage, like their per-second compute power consumption or their amount of storage. It's a vastly different approach from the software as a service called SaaS model, popularized in the Silicon Valley over the past decades and used by software heavyweights like Adobe, Salesforce, Slack, and Zoom, in which companies charge customers per users every month or every year. Snowflake, Twilio, and Stripe, as well as cloud providers, Amazon, Microsoft, and Google were some of its usage-based pricing pioneers, and companies like Informatica, New Relic, and Splunk are some of its new adherents. It's the only model that makes sense, said Christian Kleinman, the Senior VP of Product at Snowflake, which has followed a usage-based model since its founding. It gives customers more flexibility regardless of when they experience a peak demand and does not force them to pay for the product features they do not use, he said. Despite the myriad benefits to offering this model, there are some drawbacks including unpredictability, meaning it's not the best fit for every company. But many analysts and executives, including those from the Twilio, Microsoft, Stripe, and Snowflake, think usage-based pricing is here to stay. And there is a more interesting hybrid business model. Let's go deeper. At first, subscription model is by and large dying. The first way of tech pricing started with buying boxed software hosted in the company's device or data centers. Firm would charge users for a perpendicular license, meaning that they would attach to the software forever but wouldn't get update or new addition without spending more. Then, as cloud software became more popular, many tech companies shifted from traditional licensing scheme to the subscription-based pay-as-you-go model, pioneered by companies like Salesforce in the early 2000s. This has been the dominant model for tech companies and proved widely successful for years. But then, cloud providers became some of the first to charge based on the usage of their computing service in a really granular way. For every second of compute you're using, you get billed for it. OpenView partner Sanjeev Kalivar told. For example, Microsoft Azure Cloud charged pretty much entirely per usage, Scott Guthrie, Microsoft head of the cloud and AI told. He and other executives says that one of the benefits of the usage-based model is that customers love it. The Twilio CFO went as far as to say that subscription-based model was by and large dying because usage-based pricing provides customers better deals. With the SaaS model, there has a bunch of features out of the box, but if you don't use those features, you pay for them anyway. Usage-based pricing, meanwhile, is the next way because the vendor is always on the right side of the customers. It also allows customers to start using new tools without a lot of risk. You can start off at a very small scale and rapidly scale up as you start to see success, he said. The pricing model also helps buyers make sure they are getting the most value for their money, according to Tianzhou, the CEO of the subscription management company Zhura. In his experience, customers want to pay directly for exactly what they are using, instead of shelling out for the features they do not use. We want the amount we pay to be commensurate based on the value we get, he added. And if different types of users within a company use different tools in the software, they do not end up paying for features they don't want or need, he said. Basically, the balance of power has shifted from vendors to the customers, and the usage-based pricing is the perfect alignment. OpenBuild Oliver said, that's why it's a very powerful business model. There's a very good alignment between pricing and the value delivered, Stripe head officer said. The pros for the product company is it's the model that scales. And Wall Street has taken notice. Bank of America analyst called Trello the most compelling land and expand model in the communication software universe because of its usage-based model. The second, pivot with new model. Some companies see usage-based pricing as part of modernizing their business. Informatica, a nearly 30-year-old data company, recently pivoted from the subscription model to the usage-based pricing as part of the larger modernization push. Describing the company's new cloud-native management platform, the CEO told that, we absolutely want to marry it with a cloud-native pricing model, which is a consumption-based pricing model. Customers pay as they go. They can grow to any scale they would like to. Data company Splunk also went through the usage-based pricing update as it's modernized for the cloud in September 2019. Splunk now charges based on the cloud workload, which depends on the capacity customer use rather than the data volume. Under Splunk's previous model, customers were nervous about putting data in without mentally, exactly knowing the value that they would get, Splunk CEO Doug Merritt told. Its new consumption model has had a huge impact on the value that they are getting, he said. The pricing update also positively influenced the Splunk's business. Its cloud revenue increased 80% a year after it made a change. On top of helping companies modernize their business, usage-based pricing is having a moment amid the onslaught of new technology. It's harder to apply the per-user fee to new technologies like AI, blockchain, and machine learning, which are becoming a bigger part of workplace software. The third, pros of usage-based model. While some of the subscription sales may show the sign of softening, companies are doubling down on recurring revenue strategy. 42% of the CFOs said that 40% of their revenue is recurring. Usage-based pricing is now providing to drive success for emerging and established companies. Usage-based pricing is behind many of the big success stories of 2020, such as JFrog and Snowflake. When you look at the revenue model for the public SaaS companies, usage-based revenue outperforms, with an average net dollar retention (NDR) of 15%. Then you have the famous usage-based pricing success stories like Zoom that has the 130% NDR. Tracking consumption-based revenue reveals patterns that illuminate your relationship with your customers. Using artificial intelligence and machine learning, you can analyze patterns, revealing where you can optimize pricing and where you may losing your customers. Analytics can also show where you can expect better performance from consumption-based versus subscription pricing. Generally, customers prefer to pay for only what they consume. And here are some proven metrics that usage-based pricing is way better than the fixed subscription model. Companies using the usage model has shown the 38% faster revenue growth rather than their peers. 7 of the 9 most recent IPOs of cloud companies adopt the usage-based pricing, and they prove that this model can guarantee a stronger net dollar retention rate. And lastly, consumption-based models show 50% higher revenue multiples versus the broader SaaS companies. The fourth, cons of the usage-based model. Of course, there can be drawbacks to the consumption-based pricing. While analysts expect usage-based pricing adoption to grow, the company considering adopting it should take a number of risks into account. If an industry of customer undergoes a dramatic slowdown, a usage-based company take on the loss. When Lyft and the larger ride-hailing market suffered during the pandemic, that affects Trello, the main provider of texting and calling service to those apps. It may seem that the revenue prediction will be less accurate since you have to base future sales on the past sales patterns. Some customers, especially B2B customers, may have concerns about consumption-based billing since it appears more challenging to budget. Also, you're billing customers in arrear after they have used your service or received your goods. You can consume as much and as little as you want, Snowflake's Kleinerman said. The flip side of it is that it's slightly harder to predict your spend. Think of your electricity in your house. You can't predict exactly what your bill is. However, usage patterns typically start trending over time to enable predictability. Most customers prefer pay-as-you-go pricing because they have better control over how much they pay based on the consumption. The fifth, hybrid usage-based subscription. A hybrid usage-based subscription model is a middle ground. Some, like a data analytics company, Datadog, have adopted a hybrid combination of usage-based and a subscription model known as a usage-based subscription. Datadog charges customer a flat monthly fee for a certain amount of usage, then added the charges based on the usage if the customer exceeds the limit. The workflow automation company Zapier and the customer service software market HubSpot have also implemented a usage-based subscription model. Gartner's Santoro said that the usage-based subscription model provides the company and the customer a degree of predictability while helping the customer achieve greater value for what they pay for. It can also encourage customers to buy more product and service for a given provider. Businesses may be hesitant to spend more on a particular piece of software with a per-user fee because not everyone uses the tools the same amount. But with usage-based pricing, any number of people can access the software up to a certain amount of usage, lowering the barrier to entry. A hybrid model also had the benefit of offering customers the best of both worlds, Simon Kucher's partner said. As a customer, you're either allowed a more queue into user-based motion and a usage-based motion, and even offering a choice make your choice that much more attractive, he said, adding that the companies that did not offer the both options might become a bit irrelevant in the future. Jura CEO said that companies growing the fastest have a good blend of fixed fee plus usage-based. His company offers both of the fixed fees and the usage fees. Fixed fees are based on the type of tools customer want and come with a certain level of capacity. When the capacity is exceeded, customers pay by usage. At last, future of the subscription economy. As more companies adopt consumption-based pricing in 2021, you can see several trends emerging. Let's find out one by one. First, more customized pricing for new everything-as-a-service business model. We have already seen the automakers like Porsche and Volvo initiate the everything-as-a-service subscriptions. As more industries begin seeing the value of subscription to generate recurring revenue, the next logical step will be the increase in its consumption-based offerings. And next, more direct to the customer D2C business model that eliminates the intermediary. D2C is becoming trend among the millennials, and the pandemic has driven the trend since many retailers have remained closed. You can expect to see the more businesses like Warby Parker, Allbirds, and Glossier continue to come to the market and thrive. And third, existing usage-based service will refine their pricing model to help customers prioritize and manage their purchase. For example, OTT providers will start allowing customers to buy or rent specific series or episode without requiring them to subscribe to the channel in which they may have no other interest. At last, you will also see more hybrid pricing model emerging to give customers even more choice. Most of this hybrid will be blend of subscription and a la carte service. Amazon Prime is one example. You also can expect to see new consumption-based pricing with initiatives such as discount or loyalty points to attract repeat customers. As customer satisfaction and choice become increasingly important, you can expect to see more consumption-based pricing complementing existing revenue models. Innovative pricing powered by sophisticated billing technology will create new revenue for forward-thinking companies in 2021 and beyond. Thank you so much for watching my video, and please subscribe to my channel and show your thumbs up. I will hop around the world and bring lots of thousands of funny stories to you guys. Thank you again and see you!